I don't know how to hold this. Okay, I'm gonna hold it like this. I'm in the car, obviously. I'm driving, obviously. Is this safe? Maybe not. Don't try this at home, kids. But I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant right now because I just got out of class, my English class, and I'm writing this paper. It's kind of about the idea of living in two worlds. For those of you who don't maybe know what really that means, it's kind of like living in a world in this today's Western society while also trying to maintain your cultural identity. Basically, that's the gist of it. And today, my teacher wanted us to do a podcast, kind of explaining what our paper is, basically. And so I did, and then I just went on a whole tangent in my head, and I kind of wanted to get my ideas on video, I guess, because I don't know, I never do that, and I kind of want to start doing that. So let me tell you what I was thinking. Let me start with my paper first. So in the podcast, we were asked like, oh, what's our thesis or whatever, what it's about. And so I told them that my paper is going to be on the living in two worlds. Like I said, living in today's Western society with all this media, blending of different cultures, this kind of, I don't like to use this term, but like the melting pot term of like cultures, because there's different people here, and also trying to maintain our personal identity as indigenous people. She was asking us questions, and one of the questions she asked me, because I told her that I grew up in Mesa, Arizona, which is kind of like a suburb of Phoenix, because it's like the greater Phoenix metro area. I don't know, why did I use metro? Anyways, the greater Phoenix area, so it's like Phoenix, Tempe, Scottsdale, Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler, all of those. It's like a huge city, urban area. I was explaining how I didn't really have very much knowledge about my cultural background because, well, it's not that I didn't have any knowledge of my cultural background. Of course, I knew I was Native American, and I knew I was Navajo. I grew up with my mom and my grandparents, and they would tell me certain things, as Navajo moms and grandparents do. And we would do certain things, like they would teach me how to use the corn pollen to pray in the morning, and they would tell me all about how we're not supposed to sleep or eat or anything during a solar eclipse, or just like stuff like that. I didn't really have much appreciation for it, I guess, because I didn't know how valuable it was until I got into high school. I joined my first Native American Youth Council, Mesa Strength Youth Council, rest in peace, because there's no more Mesa Strength Youth Council. Anyways, that youth council kind of was the first door that opened for me to bring awareness to what really being a Native person means, if that makes sense. It was just interesting to see, because I didn't really grow up with many people that looked like a lot of kids that looked like me, because most of the kids that I went to school with were, I'm gonna say it, white kids, and even there weren't even that many like Mexican, Hispanic, African American. I only really saw around me just like Caucasian children that I grew up with. And so, of course, I didn't really understand the value of my culture if I had nobody around me to compare my cultural beliefs to, Hold on, I need to switch lanes here. Am I gonna crash? Maybe. Is it worth it? Probably not. Oh my god, okay. And then when I got into high school, I started to get to know more Native youth. It was just interesting because like most of the stuff that I joke around with my cousins or family members, I finally got to do that with friends. And then for those of you that know Unity, know that when it's your first time going to a Unity conference, it's super, super eye-opening. I'm sorry, I almost hit a pothole. Most people explain it as a life-changing experience, and it was for me. And I know that's kind of like the corny thing to say, like Unity changed my life, but it's true. Cause like it gave me pride in how I saw myself, you know? And I'm sure people people can relate. Just this whole gaining all this new knowledge and inspiration to wanting to learn more about my people and, you know, the history of what we went through and what our traditions are, our ceremonies, our songs, our stories, and try to preserve that for the next future generations. In my English class, I was saying that it's living in two worlds is, yes, it's about the balance of your day-to-day life. Yeah, you could just live your life as yourself. Like, I could just be me. I'm just Audrey. I'm just out here going to school, you know, living my life just for myself. But that's not what we were taught. Because we're taught to represent ourselves, our family, our tribes, our people, and how we're perceived by everybody else in this world, and how they see Native Americans as a whole, how they see your one specific tribe because you come from that tribe and you represent them whether you know it or not, and your family, how people will think of your family because of the way you present yourself, and also how people will think of you also, obviously, because of how you present yourself. Okay. I don't know what I was trying to say now. It's hard. I think that's basically the gist of what I was trying to say. It's hard, you know, being Native American, coming from the tribe that you do, because I'm Navajo and Cheyenne. I grew up in Mesa. I did not grow up on the Navajo reservation. I did not grow up on the Cheyenne Arapaho reservation. I am not an enrolled member of any of those tribes. I'm an enrolled member of the Colorado River Indian tribes, and there's so much, there's so much that goes into that, and that's just me. There are many, many others out there that deal with the same issues, you know, struggling to find their cultural identity. Not even just their cultural identity, but their identity, period. You know? And I lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, well, it is hard. It'll be hard. But we get through it. You know, because we have all of our ancestors. This is what they wanted for us. This is why they were fighting so hard. This is why they wanted our cultures, our languages, our traditions to be preserved, because they wanted it to live through us. They wanted us to live great lives, and they wanted us to be leaders so we can help future generations achieve even more than what we achieve and will achieve. So I think, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, we could give up. Yeah, we could only think about ourselves, but I don't think we can, you know, because there's so many people counting on us, so many things that we feel like we have to do and we should do, because, you know, who else is going to do it? If nobody else is going to step up to speak on behalf of your people, if nobody else is going to step up to be that role model for your people, if nobody else is going to step up to lead our people to a greater future, then it has to be us.